Welcome everyone to the show, Combustible Elements, real talk for real people. Here we try to put different ideas and perspectives together in a pot, heat it up, and get an explosion of knowledge and understanding. We understand that problems can only be fixed starting from the bottom to the top, building a great foundation for change and improvement. I'm Big Mel, and I'm joined by Ruben, aka the Monarch, and Aaron, the Hitman. Let's get started.
So thank you again for joining us for Combustible Elements. We're trying to build from the foundation up to that house, skyscraper building, whatever you want to call it, coming from the bottom to the top. We're talking about topics. We're trying to educate each other, not you, not me, but each other. And we're going to come to a consensus. You can only learn stuff by talking. So we're going to learn from each other. So today we're going to talk about the migration problem that's going on in the United States right now. You have the Afghan refugees coming over, so that's going to be a part of this conversation. But you also have something going on with Haiti. So I'm going to digress and let Ruben, the Haitian monarch, he's the Haitian monarch tonight, tell you what's on his mind. I'm Big Mel. Aaron, the Hitman, is with us. And the monarch, do what monarchs do. Start, lead us, brother, lead us.
So I guess our topic tonight is basically talking about migrating to the USA, who can go, who can stay, and the reason why I wanted to talk about it outside of the fact that it's a trending topic right now, but you know I get in contact with a lot of different people on throughout the day because of my profession. As a barber, I come into contact with all walks of life, and so I feel like I got a pretty good sense as far as like different variety of cultures and different ethnicities and different backgrounds. And one thing I can't seem to understand is how the immigration policy truly works here in America. Reason why I say that is because we have two different crises, of immigrations that are in the news currently, and one being Afghanistan, where you got dozens of planes being shipped out to pick up people from Afghanistan to bring them over here to this country, and they're getting all types of different resources. You got Airbnb saying, "Yo, listen, it's a no-brainer to put them up in housings and stuff like that." And on the other hand, you got Haitians, my people who I happen to be of the same culture from, of the same island from, who their country is going through different crises, just as Afghanistan's country is going through different crises, but they're being treated in a completely different way. They're going about coming here. Listen, I'm not even sure how they ended up in that bridge in Texas. I'm not even going to try to speculate. I even understand the calamities that they had to go through to even get to the point where they could reach United States territories. But Haiti is an island, okay? It is an island. It is surrounded by water. There are no islands close by. Like to make it from that place and finding a way to making it to the United States, outside of the earthquakes that country done went through, outside of the political assassination of the president from the last 60 days or so, another earthquake, disparities as far as food, disparities as far as education, disparities as far obviously government, since the president is being assassinated. What other qualifications does one need to qualify for an asylum? What else needs to happen in order for somebody to say, like, look, I want a shot at what y'all got going on over here? And I understand it's not, everything is not great in this country. Everything is not peaches in this country. But it's like, for some, when you listen to some of these people's stories and you understand where they come from, all they're looking for is an opportunity. This is what this country is supposed to be about. The land of opportunities. That, like, these people are literally, they're not asking for like welfare. They're asking for an opportunity to just show what they can do. Sort of like that walk on a varsity football team or something, or at a major school, or basketball or whatever. Just like, look, I know I wasn't a blue chip. I know I didn't come from the best schools. I love this sport right here. I want a chance at playing it. Can I just get a shot? You know, this is what they're asking for. But for whatever reason, I guess they didn't come. I'm not gonna say it's just because they're black, because even though that's a high point of it. It's a high possibility that's one of the things that's curving, you know, this whole, hey, you know, go back to where you came from concept. I would like to know what else is there. You know, what other factors are keeping people from keeping the government from giving them the same type of, like, you know, offerings that the people as so they deserve of Afghanistan. You know, they're getting all types of help, all types of aids, all types of everything that they could possibly need so they can get an opportunity. Why don't the Haitians get the same thing?
Okay. Aaron, what do you have to say about this? I progressed from writing stuff down. I just like text myself so I don't forget. So I'm gonna come back to you. Yeah. So Aaron, what do you think about this topic?
Like his questions are valid, but at the same time, like, I don't know. Like, I don't to answer his question. I know it wasn't like directly to me, but like, I don't know like what you have to do. But just like your analogy, because I didn't play Little League football, I didn't play Pop Warner, I didn't play in high school, but I walked on that Temple football team, and it was a process. I had to go do an interview, I had to do physicals, I had to go get my medical records. It was a process for me to actually even want to walk on. Like, I couldn't just go to their practice field and walk on and catch the ball and be like, I'm a receiver, I'm here. Like, it was a process. So like, I mean, a whole bunch of people showing up at a border, I'm pretty sure they're not going through the immigration process as to what you need to do in order to get into the country to even be seen as a citizen or get asylum or whatever. I don't necessarily know like what's going on as far as that. And I don't know from what I heard, and it's just what I heard. I don't know if this is true or not, but the asylum that they're giving the people over across seas that they're bringing over here, they were helping the government. They were helping us out. So they're seeking asylum because they were helping us out, but now we're not over there. Our government, our military isn't over there anymore. So they're trying to bring the people that was helping us back over here because they're considered our allies because they were helping us in certain ways. I don't know which way that is. I'm not going to speculate in which way they was helping us. But I mean, of course, it's not fair to, you know, if you don't know the full story, it's not fair to cherry pick which people you're going to bring into the country and help out and put them up in Airbnbs or give them medical and things like that. Because at the end of the day, the people who are citizens here, you, me, and Mel, have to pay for it because we're paying taxes. So we have to foot the bill for all the people that they're bringing in here that aren't going to be working, that aren't going to be able to pay for their Medicare or insurance and things like that. And then they're going to bring the children. No, who's going to be paying for that? We are. So to just let people cross the borders, period, without having any background or even coming in the country to help the country out. Like right now, they're running from the situations that they're in. And it's crazy because everybody talks about how bad America is. The Americans talk about how bad America is, but everybody trying to come to America. So obviously America is not that bad because everybody want to come here. So maybe they should switch places with the people that's trying to come here since they think America is so bad. But they're trying to come here for asylum, but who's going to take care of them? The Americans have to take care of them. The government isn't necessarily going to take care of them because the government gets paid through us. So if we're paying the government, how is the government going to help somebody else when we're helping the government? So it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand how people are just flooding over here and how we are to keep them out or how to sort the people out who are allowed to come in the country the proper way. Is a shame the way that they're doing everybody. But again, I don't know the whole backstory. I don't know the whole situation. So, I mean, I don't know.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna jump in on a couple of topics. I'm gonna try not to bleed too much of it together so we can have a discussion. First things first. Okay. They are two different situations. I do agree with Aaron. The Afghan people that they're bringing over, were our allies over there for years. They agreed with our policies. Listen, everybody wants to sit down there and say, you got to be a ride or die person. Look out for your own, family first. Okay, if somebody helps you, you can't just throw them under the bus, especially you can't throw them under the bus where they pretty much going to get executed when they catch them. So the way that they left Afghan, personally, and this is my personal opinion, the way that they left was sloppy. People got left. It was a mess. The way that they withdrew was sloppy. If you know you were going to withdraw, it should have been more organized. And I think that's the biggest problem that people have over here. Over here, looking at the situation, Aaron brought up a good point. Aaron said that who's going to pay for these people? Okay, we're paying for them now. Our tax money is paying for them. But once again, they were our allies over there, whether we agree with it or not, they were our allies. You bring them over here, I'm sure it's not an unlimited check forever. Those people are going to have to get jobs. They're going to end up getting citizenship, but they're going to have to get jobs. And they earn their citizenship for whatever deal that they made with this government. You know what I mean? Now, on to Ruben's point. It is two different situations because we already know that this government in the past has had different policies for different countries. It's a fact. There's no debating it. Whether it was systemic racism, whatever, it's just a fact. Let's just deal with the fact right now. However, when people sneak over, there are other places in the world. I think if you sneak into France, they drop you off in the Sahara Desert. You know what I mean? They dropping you off to die in the middle of a fucking desert. So some countries will just shoot you if you try to come over their border. Ain't no talking. Some countries got landmines if you try to come over their border. If you sneak into a country and you get deported, you took your chance. It didn't work. That's the bottom line. Now, my problem is not with people coming from other countries. My problem is people that don't go through the proper channels. And this next question is for you, Ruben. You know what I mean? This question speaks to what you have done. You'll tell everybody how hard it was for you to become a U.S. citizen, the hoops that you had to jump through. You know more about American history than me and Aaron combined because they make you learn American history. And if you don't know American history, you ain't passed the test. Okay, that's the bottom line. But these people are trying to sneak over. Yes, they want better opportunities. Yes, they want more. And let me bring up this point before you answer this question. I've said it before once or twice. I have a Native American background on both sides of my family. So between what happened to them, we're all African American males or Haitian American males, or Haitian, we have a history of slavery here. Nobody at no place and anywhere in this world can say that they were the only ones that lived in that land and they didn't take it from somebody. Everybody migrated from somewhere. Some say everybody came from Africa and spread out. Then that means if you all came from Africa, all these other places didn't have people there. And then you claim that thing. So this is where we're at. Our history is a horrible history when it comes to keeping promises taken from others. There are negative strikes on our history, but this is where we're at right now. And on your borders, you have to have rules. People can't just come in when they want to, not even just threats, just people, you don't know who the hell they are and they come in and out your country. Your country cannot be an open door. I don't agree with all the policies that go along with it, but I understand that you have to secure. You wouldn't leave your door open and let everybody come in and out your house if you didn't know who they were. So that's how we have to look at the country. Now, Ruben, my question for you is, those hoops that you had to jump through to become a U.S. citizen, you think it's fair that somebody can sneak in and hide and they're not going to be penalized?
See, the reality of it is people sneak in this country all the time. Like they just if they got the right
I
complexion.
understand. I understand that. I asked you, was it fair? I understand it.
It's not even a matter of fairness. Like I'm not gonna stay here and be an hypocrite and be like, no, it's not fair. Look, like people come here for opportunity. People come here for opportunity. Like I can't speak. I'm not gonna try and speak for every Haitian, but I know like watching. I was watching an interview yesterday. So to make matters worse, as things that already happened in Haiti, there was a fire yesterday at a gas station in a part of the country called Cap Haitien. And basically this gas station fire caused several different people's motorcycles and vehicles to catch in flame. One particular person who lost his motorcycle was a gentleman who was talking to interview, and he was basically saying, listen, you know, I'm here, I'm doing the best I can. I got 4 kids. You know, you can't buy gas, you know, if you don't have a car. You can't buy gas. They don't want to sell gas on motorcycles. So you got to buy the gas like you buying it for a car. And then the people that buy the gas, like they buying it for the car, they go and tax, you know, the people that got the motorcycles to buy the gas. So essentially, because the gas station won't sell the gas to people that, you know, like if you go in there with a barrel trying to buy the gas from them, somebody else that has a car has to go buy that gas. And that the person that buy that gas puts a $200-300 tax on it to sell it to the person with a motorcycle. This particular dude was trying to find a way to buy himself some gas. The gas station caught fire. He now lost his bike. And in speaking, he's like, look, I'm trying the best I can to be an honorable individual. You know, I got 4 kids. This is how I make my money. This is how I make a living. I came out with just enough money so I could buy this gas, you know, because if I go to other place, they're gonna charge me too much, and I know I could get it here. Now I'm out of this this only means that I have to provide for my family. These people that's trying to come here, they're not trying to come here to rape, they're not trying to come here to rob, they're not trying to come here to pillage, they're not trying to come here to take away resources. They come here so they could provide and work. All they want is a government that works. If our government worked, people wouldn't want to leave that country. If that government worked, I wouldn't be here. I would more than be happy to be living in Haiti where it's warm all year round. Because at the end of the day, like, I understand that no matter how successful I get here, I'm still Black in America.
So, go ahead. You still talking?
So I say all this.
He gonna go in before I do. Go ahead, finish, bro.
Like, it's not so much, you know, fair or unfair. There's a lot of different individuals that come to this. Like when you think of immigrants, like you think they have the specific look, or you think they have a specific accent. You think Spanish, or you think, you know, Haitians, or you think, but no, they got European immigrants, they got Canadian immigrants, they got that, like there's all these different type of demographic of immigrants that come here all the time and that stay here illegally, and that they just want something different from from the country that they're coming from, which are not stable. And to make matters worse, most of these countries are unstable because of America. That's really what the true story is behind all this. It's like you destabilize these countries, you take away their resources, you kill their governments, you do all this stuff, and then you tell them don't come here. Well, why'd you go over there and mess the stuff they had going on over there for? You don't want them here, but you don't want their place where they live at to be good neither.
Okay, so go ahead, Aaron.
So one, you don't know everybody that's crossing the border, so you can't speak that they're not coming to. I mean, wherever you go, you're going to use up resources, so they are coming to use the resources, but you don't know like what their intentions are coming over here. Of course, they're fleeing the country because it's in bad condition, but if I was a criminal and I know if I get caught for murder over in my country, they're going to kill me, I'm going to go to a country where they just going to lock me up. Yeah, I go to a country where they just going to lock me up and make me clean the side of the roads or make license plates or something like that. But then you said, at the end of the day, no matter how successful you are, you're still Black. Like, what does that mean? Because you're successful. Like nobody stopping you from being successful, no matter what color you are, no matter what race you are. Like you got more than one business. Like what? Like, so what does you being black have to do with anything?
Because because I still get profiled no matter what.
That still don't stop you from being wealthy. That don't stop you from being prosperous.
I wouldn't be profiled if I live somewhere where everybody look like me.
But that's the thing, like
that, you know, there's a certain level of like. There's a reason why a lot of people love to move to Atlanta, because Atlanta gives you the idea of the feeling when you're black. It like, you know, you're the majority now, because you turn around, you got a doctor, you got a lawyer, you got a dentist, you got all these different successful people. Every time you look, every time you turn around, it's all black. And if you live in a country where everybody look like you, there is no racial profiling. That's classism. Classism will always exist. That. Before racial profiling, there was classism. But racial profiling, that's where it's like, it doesn't matter, you know, the amount of money you make. You got LeBron James, who lives in Los Angeles. You know, when he was moving out there, people would write nigga on his wall at his new mansion, multi-million-dollar mansion. This is LeBron James, because it doesn't matter how successful you are, you're still black in America.
You gotta pick your poison. So would you rather go back to Haiti?
Listen, if Haiti was stable, absolutely.
No, that wasn't the question.
Like
right now, would you want to go back to Haiti?
No, right now, no, because again, it's not stable. It's not somewhere that has the means and resources and just basic things that you need to live. Like, it doesn't have the basics.
So you gotta pick your poison. Like, would you getting profiled, but you still being able to live your life? You still providing for your family. Like, so
no, let's go back. Let's go back to profiling. Okay. Yes, you do get profiled by people. We all get profiled by people. Everybody gets profiled by people in some way, whether it's everybody does, because people have their own opinion of other people that are not them.
Because everybody gets this, just because it happens doesn't make it okay. Like,
it doesn't make it okay. But I'm gonna go back to your point about LeBron James. Yes, somebody wrote nigga on this stuff. Okay, it may have been more than one people, but do you think all the people over there wrote that shit?
Doesn't matter. What I'm saying is,
what it mean it doesn't matter? You're gonna throw everybody under the bus for one person or a group?
This was that a person who's as recognizable and as famous and as wealthy and as admired and loved as LeBron James, if he's gonna get racially profiled and get hate and get things like that written on the wall of his $multi-million-dollar mansion.
But he's not admired and loved by everybody. He's not admired and loved by them. For everybody that loves him, there's people that hate him for whatever reason. It's the same things. For anybody that love you or sit down there and say, Ruben got this, it's somebody that's sitting back there and they saying, oh, fuck him, I don't like what Ruben doing. Go take your black ass back to Haiti. There's some people that tell you it's wrong. You can't just throw everybody under the bus, because my biggest thing is that's what people used to do with African Americans. Like, they used to say, oh, all these niggas do this. You know what I mean? So now you saying all of them profile even in that area. And it's not right. It's not right coming from them. It's not right coming for us. I'm just saying that you are going to have people that profile. I'm not saying racism don't exist. Just like you say, classism always going to be there. It's always going to exist. It's always going to be people that are going to hate you just because you look a certain way or because you talk a certain way. That's not going to go anywhere. But you can't just say that everybody doing that. Aaron had a good point. You are successful. You come up with ideas to do other things all the time, and then you follow those ideas. Don't nobody stop you. The only thing that's been stopping you from what I've been seeing in the last 2 years is time. So you can't say that somebody's holding you back. You know, there are going to be people that try to do stuff to hold you back. But you're going to tell me that they still doing it like they were 20 or 30 years ago? No, it's not the same. You know, and as far as Haiti goes, I'm not knocking Haiti, but they are their own country. They do have problems and they do want to be better. Everybody wants to be better. But I mean, don't you think you should try to fix your problems at home before you come over here?
Listen, Haiti hasn't been its own country in decades, man.
And just for the record, the French destabilized Haiti more than any other country with their bullshit.
No.
Oh, you gonna blame the US, not the French.
It's a false narrative. Like the French basically told Haiti, pay me back. And Haiti said, no. And in America and other countries was like, well, you don't pay them back, nobody's going to do business with y'all. See, France is thousands of miles away. So they could tell Haiti, you better pay us, but they didn't have the army, they didn't have the resources, they didn't have the money to force Haiti to pay them. You know who did? I'm gonna let y'all guess. You know who's close?
You say that.
I'm
You
gonna
say
let y'all
that, but France is more racially divided in their country.
We wouldn't even
than
have
we
the
are.
America that we know today if it wasn't for Haiti. Louisiana, the small part of state that it is now was way bigger territory. The only reason why the U.S. even got that land was because of Haiti. Like half of the things that people get to enjoy in this country are because of Haiti. From the very inception of this country, Haiti has bled, Haiti has funded, Haiti has done a lot for the United States of America. This isn't a matter of like, yo, do us a favor. No, America owes Haiti.
Oh, so you think because they owe Haiti, in your
America
opinion, that anybody should just come over when they want to, but that they shouldn't have to leave?
I'm gonna be honest. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. You sound like you're a little what's the word? You bringing in your personal feelings towards it.
Whenever y'all want, take the time to do the research. Look up who Gerard is. Steven Gerard. Find out how he got his money. Okay? Find out how he got his money. Find out where that money came from. Find out what he did with that money once he got it. Because if y'all didn't know, when America, after they won the war against Britain, they were broke. This country was broke. You know where they got the money from? Steven Gerard. You know where Steven Gerard got the money from? Toussaint Louverture, a Haitian general. The Haitian general emperor of Haiti. It was his money that Steven Gerard stole and basically used that money to fund the first bank of the that he purchased in Philadelphia. This is here. He purchased in Philadelphia, and using that money, he borrowed it. He borrowed it to the U.S. government. Haitian money.
Okay, so he stole the money first.
It brought them back to what it is today.
But he stole the money first and ran away. So maybe he was paying to come over here.
No,
because he stole. You just said he stole the money, right?
See, Steven Gerard was a merchant. He had ships. The ships
was. But you said he stole the money, right?
He stole the money.
So he couldn't stay there.
Listen.
So he had to go somewhere.
Listen to me. The reason why I say he stole the money because he was on the ships that he had. He was carrying cargo that didn't belong to him. The cargo belonged to Toussaint Louverture. Toussaint Louverture ended up in jail in France because he fell for the rules of Napoleon Bonaparte when they told him to go over there so they could broach a plan to where Haiti was going to become free and it was still going to stay a state of France or whatever. It was going to be its own country, run itself, but it was still going to stay in alliance with France. And he believed them, and instead when he got there, they put him in jail. The money and and stuff that he had on the boat that Steven Gerard ended up keeping it for himself, and later on financing the bank. That money is Haitian money.
Okay, I'm not disputing that, but he stole it. The French locked up the general on the sneak, so they probably was in collusion with each other. And if you come to me and you got all this money and I need it and I can work a deal out with you, I'm gonna work the deal out with you. I'm not giving the money back. So how you gonna sit down there and say that the U.S. did this and they all stole the money and then he had to go somewhere? I'm not going to steal money from your house and stay down and have a cup of tea in your living room. I'm getting the hell out of there.
You know what the value of that money would be in today's money, yo? $3 million.
It doesn't matter. He stole it.
$3 million.
He's a thief.
And this was just one of the many instances where the U.S. has went about and taken money out of Haiti, in order to fund itself.
And we'll go over those entries. We'll go over those times. We're gonna let you write a whole list and go in.
They went down there again, dipped into the treasury, stole gold, stole all types of stuff. Look, man, Haiti's not where it's.
So they sailed down to Haiti, went into Haiti's treasury without a battle, took all their gold and just left. It wasn't no fight. They just let them take the gold. They just stepped to the side and said, "Go ahead, dog."
Is this a real conversation, or are you?
This is a real conversation.
No, because honestly, this is stuff I'm making up. Anybody can research this.
I'm going to research it because you know I like that. But I'm just saying, like, they didn't just let them march down there like we're gonna come down and take the road. You ain't gonna do shit.
They went in there and killed a whole bunch of Haitians and stole their stuff. They did.
So they did come with troops and kill the people.
Yes.
They didn't just, you said they walked in and just took their stuff. I asked you.
They didn't walk in, but they came in there with their army. They came in there, they invaded, and they came in there and they stole, and then after that they left. 1915, absolutely, they did that.
Okay, I'm gonna look at it. But I mean, I'm not saying that they didn't do that. That has nothing to do with them, you know, people sneaking into the country. They got.
You gotta.
Okay, well,
it has nothing to do with
it's fucked up, but
it's the history. This isn't a situation where like, oh, your country, you've been messing up your own place, and now you want to come over here. No, y'all kept sticking y'all finger, you know, sticking y'all thumb, sticking y'all hand in our pot, taking all our honey, taking all our gold, and now we ain't got nothing left. Now we hungry. Now we want.
So you saying that none of the problems that Haiti had was their own doing. It was all the U.S. You ain't had no fucked up politicians, no fucked up policy.
That's not what I'm saying at all. That's never what I said. But what I'm saying is America can't stand here and act like this country, you know, is on its own. You know, y'all over there messing up. Anytime you hear anybody mention Haiti, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, the poor, you know how something becomes poor? When it's been overexploited. Nothing in the Western Hemisphere was ever poor. That's where the wealth that the world has today comes from the Western Hemisphere. It comes from Jamaica. It comes from Barbados. It comes from Guadeloupe. It comes from Martinique. It comes from Haiti. It comes from Santo Domingo. It comes from Cuba. It comes from all of those islands. It comes from, did I say Martinique? It comes from all of those different islands. Those places are not poor.
Why do you sound like you flustered, bro?
I'm not flustered. It's just one of those things where like you hear people say stuff.
You're gonna get real flustered in a minute. You know why?
No, it's not poor. It's not poor and it's not underdeveloped. It's overexploited. The proper usage of word is necessary. The proper usage of words in these situations is extremely necessary because you continue this narrative where, yeah, man, y'all be messing up over there. God bless America. Hey, America's a great country. This isn't me bashing America in the sense of like, you know, this is a terrible place. No, it has its flaws like everywhere else. But a lot of these places, and most people who live in America don't travel. That's another thing. Majority of people that live here don't go nowhere. They don't own a passport. They never outside of their 5-mile block radius, and that's white or black. It's not just black or, you know, it's not just one particular community. Because I live in an all-white community, and majority of people that live there, they don't leave their community.
See, that's why you get racial profile, because you live in a white community. Move to North Philly.
I'm living in North Philly. My business is in North Philly. So again, this isn't me speaking as if you know, I live where I live because it has a good school district. If North Philly,
okay, so I'm gonna shut you down. I'm gonna shut you down. Because we're coming up on time. We're gonna do a show about Haiti and the history of Haiti, so I can go back and forth with you because I kind of enjoy this shit. You know, the monarch head started getting big and he started getting flustered and like, look at him, he can't even stop. So we're gonna go into our final thought, like who's to blame. We ain't starting with you. I may not get a turn. So Aaron, who's to blame for the immigration system, the immigration problem that we have in this country and how it's projected in the media?
Who's to blame besides the parents? From what I heard, because I'm not sure who to blame, but the vice president is the person to blame because she's the one that's in control or responsible for border control. So if we're going out of control for the border control, it's her problem. So I blame her.
Okay, Ruben, who's to blame? And please keep it under like 2 minutes.
Who's to blame? I blame the whole U.S. government. That's it.
I'm not even surprised you said the government. You know, you on this narrative. We laugh about blaming parents, but
I blame the whole U.S. government, starting with the president all the way down.
Okay, so who do I blame? I blame the system. I blame how we look at immigration, but I don't blame everybody for the current mess. The reason I don't blame everybody for the current mess is some of these systems was in place before they came in. You have to correct things. But I also understand you can't let everybody in your country. You never could. It's not feasible. You only have so much space. You know, we have space, but we don't have that much space. I think our last census said we had 330 million people in this country that we know of. Okay, now if you take the chance and you sneak in and you get deported, I don't want to hear your hard luck story. And the reason I don't want to hear your hard luck story is people like you, Ruben, and other people I know that had to jump through them goddamn hoops to become a U.S. citizen. It took years. It took money. It took time. You know, some people was shamed. They had to go through stuff. They wouldn't even let some of their relatives come over because they was like, oh, they just trying to get married, get married. You know, so a lot of people had to go through a whole bunch of bullshit to become citizens, and it's not fair to them for other people to just come in and sneak in, and then they're there. And that's my opinion. Now, we're going to do a whole topic about Haiti because this was so entertaining. You know, we got the monarch going off. I'm Big Mel. I'm joined by Aaron the Hitman. If you don't know who Ruben the Monarch is after this show, you never will. You done missed it, okay? We're trying to build a good foundation and have these conversations. We don't agree, but we're having these conversations. Why? Because you can't come up with a solution unless you talk about a problem. And you got to look at a problem from multiple perspectives. My perspective is not always right. Ruben's perspective is not always right. Aaron's perspective is not always right. Okay, but if we have a conversation, we may come to a mutual understanding, and then we can all do it together. So I want to thank everybody for joining us for Combustible Elements. We're out here. We're on all forms of media. We're in podcast form. We're here. So I look forward to talking to you again. Thank you. Peace out, everybody.